Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jessica. Thank you so much for tuning in. For today's video, we are going to break down my travel makeup case. I got pretty good about consolidating everything, but before we get started, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so this is my makeup case. It's open, so it can expand more, but honestly I can probably go smaller. Like you can see, I still have a lot more room to fill. I used to fill this baby up to the top with no extra room, but I got pretty good at, again, consolidating it. I got this case at Target. They have two different sizes. They have a smaller size and this one. The only thing I like about the bigger one is that it has more room on the top pocket. So this has the pocket inside, and it also has brush pockets as well. And then, yeah, I just like this one because even though I don't use all the room in the event where I need to take extra stuff, or maybe I can put some of my skincare in here, I will do that as well. But again, for the most part, I really like this case. I like how it's black, and the only downside is that the inside is light, so, well, it's that turquoise blue. So if it gets dirty, you can see it. I wish the inside was black as well, but you can't have everything. Since we're here though, in here I have my eyelash curler. Always an eyelash curler. If there's one thing when I'm actually not wearing zero makeup, I at least make an effort to curl my eyelashes, because my eyelashes are pinned straight, and curling them just makes me feel a little bit more awake. They kind of open up my eyes a little bit, so I cannot leave the house without an eyelash curler. If I forget an eyelash curler, I'm gonna have a very, very sad time. Okay, so I always have an eyebrow pencil. Always, this is the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. I like how tiny it is. I used to use the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. Still love that one, but this one has a little bit more of a sleeker packaging. The Benefit one has a little bit more of a bulkier packaging and like the nubs at the end. And again, still really like that one, and I'm trying out this one at the moment, and I feel like it's so comparable, so easy to use, and again, super sleek, so I really like it. Two mascaras. I always have two mascaras because one can always run out, or two, I always have to use a waterproof mascara. This one is the Voluminous Lash Paradise Waterproof. This waterproof mascara, I almost forgot the name, holds my curls so well. It's probably one of the only mascaras that holds my curls. I have very high maintenance eyelashes. That's a whole other story, not gonna get into that, but this one works really well. And then this is the Bad Gal Bang. At first, I didn't like this, again, because a lot of mascaras uncurl my eyelashes. This one in the beginning did uncurl them, but after it kind of like dried up a little bit and I started using it, it didn't curl as much, but I really like how it looks on my bottom eyelashes. It separates them so pretty, does not make them clumpy, and it kind of makes my curl uncurl a little bit, but not as much as others. So I mainly use this one for my bottom lash line, or if it's going to be a V natural day. Okay, I know this is condescending, but for the most part, I don't always take all of these lips. I am actually traveling tomorrow morning for the weekend. I'm going to San Diego on a bachelorette trip, so I'm taking fun colors I usually don't take when I travel. So I have other lips in here that I normally wouldn't take. So there are these two. I'm not going to talk about them. They're just fun colors, a fuchsia pink and like a very corally pink. And I would say these are liners that I always take. This is two lip liners from Thrive Cosmetics. I would be lying if I said I took them all the time. I don't. These are actually new to me, but I can promise you I always take two lip liners of these same tones. So I take a neutral nude color. This one happens to be the khaki one from Thrive Cosmetics, and this is the Gizion one, and it's more of a pinkier nude color. So I always take one more like pinky rosy color and one neutral color, just so I have best of both worlds. I do like having a warm lip liner sometimes, but I can get away with doing a neutral lip pencil with a warmer nude color. So I always make sure I have two shades like these, two lip liners. That's all I need, and that's probably all I ever will need. And I know I'm taking these fun colors this weekend, but I used to be so bad at packing excessive lip shades all the time. I always used to pack reds. Oh, I'm probably gonna use a red, or I'm gonna use this hot pink, or I'm probably gonna use this black. Never touched it. So I've really had to look back and cut down. You're not gonna have the time, or you're just not. When you're on vacation, you're not gonna need to do that stuff. So I am taking these fun colors because it is bachelorette and we're gonna have like a fun day, so that's why I have that, but normally don't have that. And then as far as lipsticks, same thing. I always have a pinky nude. This is Dose of Colors Brulee. Love this lipstick. And then I always have this nude no matter what. This is my favorite nude. This is a Dose of Colors No Shade. I think Dose of Colors has one of my favorite lipstick formulas. I love MAC, I love Dose of Colors, and I really do like NARS lipsticks. NARS is a whole other life for me. Love NARS, everything they do, breathe, make, I'm obsessed over. So those are my favorite. These I've been literally using for more than a year now. Probably gross, but they still work for me and I love them. These are always in my travel list, and even when they're not on my travel pack, they're always in my purse. So pinky nude, warm nude, best of both worlds. I know those two nudes are gonna cover me in whatever makeup I'm wearing, any mood, any colors I'm wearing. So that's the biggest tip I'm giving you guys. Just cut down on all the fun colors, because more than likely you don't need it. You're not going to want to use it. If you're going to take one fun color, have it be a red, something you know that's going to go with most things, or whatever works for your skin tone. But the biggest tip is take one neutral tone and one rosy pink tone for lip liners, and then you can interchange the lip shades. As you saw, I'm really only taking two lipsticks. That's all I need. That's all I know I'm gonna wear. And then on top of that, I take a gloss. I don't have my gloss. It's in my purse. But the gloss I love that I've been taking everywhere, and that goes to show it's in my purse that I wore today. It is the Milani Luminoso gloss. Love that gloss. It's a lip plumper. You've definitely seen it here on my channel. That's all I need. That's all I need to work with. Okay, so brushes. I am actually using these today, but the brushes I actually use, I just washed them, so I don't want to put them in here. However, usually when I do long distance travel and I'm going to be gone a while, I take this bad boy right here. So this is the Morphe brush case. Before I get into it, how I said I'm taking this, usually I just take a bronzer brush, blush brush, all over face brush, and a setting brush to fit under my eye. And then I'll take two small blending brushes, one big blending brush, and about 4 flat shadow brushes. That way I have one if I'm going to use something glittery. I'm not taking any glitters by any means, but you know, just like the pigments. So if I want something more matte, I know I'm not going to have glitter on that other brush. So I have one for glitters, one for like just mattes, and then I just take 4 in total, 2 and 2, so I know I'm covered with whatever I'm using. And if I'm using a darker shade, at least I have another brush for the lighter shades. But all of that fits here 100%. So these pockets are pretty big as a reference. Again, this is what I take when I go on long trips. And before I talk about this is one face brush, one blush brush, pretty much what I usually take. In one pocket, that's 2 brushes. And I can even fit like a really thin brush in here. So I know there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, but I fit so much in those 4 pockets because they're really oversized. But getting into this cup, I love this cup. This pretty much has what I would take anyway. I don't fill it up all the way. And it's so convenient because sure, I can put my brushes in a case I am for this weekend, but I just like having this better because I like looking at my brushes, and just putting it on the vanity, on the sink, in the restroom, wherever you're doing your makeup is just so easy. You can grab it, put it back, and then when if I have a whole setup in the hotel room or Airbnb, I can fit like my foundation in here and kind of like leave room in the pouch so it's easier to look for stuff. And then in here, I'll also put in my beauty blenders. If I'm taking eyelashes, I'll throw the glue in here. So it's really convenient because I can really like set everything out. I'm a very visual person, so I like to see everything laid out in front of me. It's just easy to grab when I'm doing my makeup. If I'm in a rush, I don't need to dig through this pouch. And then I know it's not a big pouch, but things get lost, and I just like seeing everything in front of me so I know where it's at. So 10 out of 10 would definitely recommend this. This is again from Morphe. I want to say it was less than 20 bucks. Honestly, I think it was probably less than 15. I might be wrong, but they still have it. And they have one that's bigger, but this is just fine. And I filled this bad boy up. Like, this is halfway filled. You definitely have a lot of room in here to fit way more brushes. So that's a plus side, very roomy. I'm just not taking it again because I'm taking one carry-on and I already have so much stuff in there. I don't want to throw this in there because it's too bulky. But that's the plus side of this pouch. If you are pretty consolidated in your kit or your collection, you have all this pouch that can fill up a lot of brushes. So good thing that's in there. And then we're going to get in to, I think, what really matters. I feel like lipsticks are the most boring thing. So sorry I started off with that. So let me pick this up. So much room in there. So I always take a facial spray no matter what. My favorite one to travel with is the Urban Decay All Nighter. It looks disgusting, but this one really locks in my makeup, and especially when I'm traveling, I don't really have time to look in the mirror and see how my makeup's doing most of the time. Like, of course, sometimes I do check, but if I'm out and about, I don't want to be worrying about my makeup. And this really locks in my makeup. I love it. And it just refreshes me as well. If I need a refresher, it doesn't break up my makeup because I have used some facial sprays that break up my makeup. But this is a really good one, so 10 out of 10 would recommend. First up out of this little thing is my Kiehl's Superfluid Daily UV Defense. Talked about this, it's been my favorites, love this. Regardless if I'm going somewhere tropical or that has a lot of sun, you always need SPF. This is SPF 50 plus. This is great even as a makeup base. It's not oily at all. Once you put it on, it kind of dries down and you do not feel one thing. It's not thick. It doesn't leave a film on your face that I know some SPFs do, you know, like a white grainy film. This is not the case. You can mix this with your foundation, you can mix it with your moisturizer, and it's like it's not there. Love it. Definitely recommend it. And it looks tiny, but all you need is like 2 to 3 drops, and I've had it for a while already. So for primer, this is the one that I have used so much. I'm literally out, so I'm going to be squeezing it out. But this is such a good primer. This is the Too Faced Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer. Love this. My skin is actually really oily now, and it just so happened to change this way probably like a month ago because the weather has been so hot here in Southern California. But I've had combo skin that geared more towards the dry side, and this still really works, and it still really works with my really oily skin. And when I travel, I feel like that's when my skin really goes through it. Like, I don't know what it is. I know when I'm going to be on an airplane, a new pimple is going to pop out. Something about the altitude being way up there really puts pressure onto my face, where I always get off the plane with a fresh new pimple. It happens. That's how my face is. But even without breaking out, my skin feels very like flat and tired. So I need something to really refresh it and brighten it, and I feel like this helps, and it moisturizes without being greasy, and it has coconut water in it, which is amazing, and probiotics, which really helps replenish your skin. So I definitely recommend this when traveling, and you can also use this as a moisturizer as well. And even if you're wearing moisturizer and you add this on top, it's not going to like be thick and greasy. So definitely recommend this one for when you're traveling, or in general. 10 out of 10 would recommend. And that primer has really worked with all the foundations that I've used it before. I trust it with anything I use, so that's a plus. Like, I know that that primer is going to work with whatever I take, which leads me to the next thing, and that's foundation. So I always take 2 foundations. Call me crazy, but I always take 2 foundations. One, I need one for my more dewy, more natural side, and I need one that is not completely matte, but something that I know that's not going to be too dewy and will last all day. So for my matte one, for my dewy one, this is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear. I used to always take my NARS Sheer Glow, but especially when I am traveling, I realize that I love the NARS Sheer Glow, but it's not as long wearing as this one. And again, going back to my point of I need something to really stay put throughout the day, because I don't know how long I'm going to be gone and I'm not going to have time to retouch my makeup. When I'm on vacation or on a trip or whatever, the least I want to wear, how can I say this? The least I worry about my makeup, the better I feel, because I don't want to worry about my makeup. I want to be present and where I'm at, what I'm experiencing, and what I'm doing. And I care about what I look like, so I want to make sure that my foundation stays on, does not break apart, and looks great throughout the day. So for me, that's NARS, and it's radiant, but without being too dewy. Now for my more long-wearing, matte-ish foundation, it is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear. This baby I love. It's actually, I don't want to say it's new to me because I've been using it for a few months now, and I took it to Europe with me and it worked like a dream. I will say foundation are the things that I do interchangeably move around when I travel, but I always take 2. These just happen to be the ones I'm really liking right now and that work very well for my skin. This one, I've danced in it in the heat. I've sweated. I've been so oily and it does not break apart. It does not get in my creases and my fine lines. And it doesn't look dry, which is a plus. And I think even though I used to have oily skin-ish, but now I have very oily skin. But regardless of what kind of skin type I had, I don't really like matte foundation because regardless of being oily, I feel like it makes my skin look so dry. And when I do get really oily, it just breaks apart. And then this one did not have that happen, which I really appreciated, and it lasted so long. I remember I wore this to a party. It was a family party where it literally lasted, it was a quinceañera, so I had to like do the church and stuff in the morning. So I would say I had it on at like 8 a.m. to get off at 1 a.m. the next morning. Well, that night, but the morning, if you know what I mean. And it literally looked like I looked in the mirror at night and I was so surprised. It was the first time I wore it, which I'm surprised because I try not to try new things in those kind of situations. And I was very impressed. So right now I really love this foundation. For concealer, I always take 2 concealers. Right now this is the 24 Hour Studio Fix, and then this is Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion. I actually bought this concealer and this foundation together. I really like this concealer. I would say it's very comparable to my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. Love it, very natural. This one is a little bit, this one's not matte at all, but like I can tell it's a little bit more, it's not as radiant because the Radiant Creamy is like Radiant Creamy. This one just has a little bit more matte texture to it, or dries down matte, if that makes sense. So really like this one. And then this one I like using on my, not my inner corner, and then like right where I get the darkest on my eye, underneath my eye. It's kind of peachy, so it combats the dark circles quite a little bit. So love these, love mixing them. This one, when I was tan, I was able, I mean, I'm not fair right now, but when I was tanner, I used to use this one all underneath my eye as opposed to just here. And I've cried wearing this. I've sweated wearing it. Does not budge, no streaks, no nothing. So this lives up to its name. This is 24 hours. So I do want to get a shade that's not as peachy so I can use it all over my eye again. So if you need something that's not going to crack, this one is the one. And that's why I take it with me, because I know it's going to really hold up. Now to set all of that, classic Laura Mercier translucent powder. I've used this one for so many years. I don't think it's ever going to change. I do have a couple other powders that I absolutely adore as much as this one, but I do like the packaging on this one because I really like my Hourglass one. I have taken that one traveling just to try it out, and though I love that one, I like how this one is not as wide as the Hourglass one. The Hourglass one takes more space as far as like the width goes, and this one is a little bit taller as opposed to the width. So this one I can just like squeeze in the center, or I can put on the side, but as you saw, I had it like stacked. You can't even tell. I had it stacked in there. So it's just a little bit more travel friendly because it's not as wide. As far as the product goes, love it. There's not much to say about it. For bronzers or my contour, I take two most of the time. If I am very fair, I omit this one, I don't take that one, and I only take this one. But right now I can get away with using this one. I love this bronzer. I've used it quite a bit on my channel. This is the Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess. Love this bronzer so much. It makes me look so sun-kissed, and I just love it. But it is very warm, so if I'm too fair, it pulls orange on me. But right now I'm tan enough. I'm not as tan as I used to be, but I'm tan enough to pull it off. So it's fine, I can use it. But if I got any little fairer than this, I can't use it anymore. But yeah, again, I can use it right now, so I'm taking it. And then I'll take this one as well or alone. This is the Galactic Cabo bronzer. I've also used this one on the channel. It is so good. It's so easy to blend. It just like really blends onto the skin beautifully, for lack of better words. And it's neutral. This I can wear even if I'm tan or if I'm pale, because it is neutral. It's not going to make me look like a Oompa Loompa, because sometimes this one can make me look like a Oompa Loompa if I am fair enough. This one, love it. This one I can contour with it, and I can also bronze myself with it. So I love this one because it's so versatile. I can do either or look. So really like this one, and it doesn't budge. It doesn't, what do you call it? It's not splotchy at all. I always take doubles. If you notice, everything is like double if I am in this mood and then if I'm in that mood. So for highlight, I have two highlights. One is gold. This is a Oh Darling Matte highlight. You've also seen me use this on my channel if you have been here before. And super pretty. It's gold. It's not too yellow. It's like the perfect gold. So I know it'll work when I'm feeling more gold, or my clothes works more with gold, or if my jewelry is gold, it's not too yellow. And I can also wear it with silvers. I'm weird like that. I don't really like mixing metals unless one of my pieces of jewelry purposely is mixed metals. I know I'm weird, but perfect. And then the other highlight is Miramaid Dose of Colors, one of my favorite highlights. This is basically my skin tone, but in highlight form. So I love using this on natural days, or if I want something that is pretty blinding but doesn't really have, like, if it's not too gold or it's not too pink. I know on some others it might look a little bit more pink, but again, this is like my skin tone. So on me, it literally looks, I love how it looks. And that's all I have to say about that. It's my skin in a highlight, which is all I ever wanted, because it looks like you're glistening so hard, but it's like, wait, is that your skin or is that highlight? Isn't that a dream? I know, I know. So for blush, a palette. I cannot stress to you how much easier that makes your life when you travel. A blush palette. If you're someone like me who loves blush, this comes in so clutch. It has all the shades you may need and the finishes. This one is the Stilazzi Bahamas palette, and they also have one for darker complexion that I can also use as well. So this one has 3 mattes and 3 more shimmery tones, or more tones that like really have a glow to it. You can really see I've dug into them. I love them because it has every mood, any sort of like clothing or style I wear, any shades I wear. I know I'm gonna have a blush shade for that. I'm a blush person, so maybe you just travel with one blush and that's fine, but If, again, you're a blush person, definitely recommend this, and this one's perfect because it's literally so thin. And then my favorite part, I used to be so bad at taking eyeshadow palettes. I was like, oh, I'm gonna take this palette because I really like this blue, and then I'm gonna want to do this blue smoky eye in Hawaii. No, you're not. You're gonna be at the beach 99.9% of the time. You don't need it. So I've really broke it down, and this is not a stranger to my channel. I've said how much I love this palette. This is this is my favorite palette, like, ever. And I know whatever I'm gonna do, most of my clothing matches this, and whatever I wear, whatever like makeup style, everything is in here. So this is the Narcissist Wanted palette. It is so beautiful. I've hit pan and I'm nearly hitting pan in all of them, which is very depressing, but it has, how can I hold this? So it has your dark browns to deepen things up. If you layer that on enough, it can be almost black. Like, I know it's brown, but it's so dark that even if you wanted to do a really dark smoky eye, you can pull that off with that. It has two crease shades. I use this one a lot. This one's a little bit darker and a little less warmer, so that's perfect. So if you want more of a warmer eye, you have one that gears more towards warmer. If you want one more neutral, you have the other one. You have this to diffuse like on your brow bone, perfect. And then you have a light pink shadow it's kind of foiled, perfect. You have a glittery shadow, so beautiful. And when you put it on, it's literally like glitter, perfect. You have this, it's like this reddish, this one's a really cool shade. I love this one. So sometimes it can look more red and sometimes it can look more neutral brown. I know, that's really weird, right? But it's just such a beautiful shade. I feel like it really conforms to what I'm wearing. If I'm wearing something more brown, it'll look more brown. If I'm wearing something more like pink reddish, it'll pick up more reddish. Deceiving, but kind of cool. And then you have your red, and then if you want to do more of a red eyeshadow, you have that rosy red right there. And then these are, I'm actually using this one today, which is, I never really used that one until today. It is like a dusty charcoal glittery shade. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I feel like the bottom tone is like a grayish, like a neutral brown, but then it has like a gold champagne-y glitter to it. It's really cool, really pretty, and I love this palette. I know whatever I'm gonna do, I have shades for it. It works with basically anything and everything, and the payoff is so good. Doesn't have fallout. I trust it. I love this palette so much. So even when I'm not traveling, I use this almost daily, and that's why I take it traveling, because I'm like, I know I trust this. I know everything I own is gonna work. And I don't know about you, I do like dressing up and I like matching my makeup to what I'm wearing. So my personal style really can go with all these colors. So it really depends on the person. It really depends on what you wear. I really just do suggest when you are packing for your travel makeup, you really look at your luggage and you're like, what am I wearing? And I bet you anything, it's going to be a lot of things you can wear neutral tones with or browns with. And unless you're going to like really go out all the time, you can get away with doing a palette with like much more vibrant colors or more deeper colors. So yeah, that works out. But for me, I don't. I used to take so much makeup, and I'm like, again, if I want to, oh, what if I'm going to wear a berry shade, or what if I'm going to do this blue smoky eye? What if I'm going to, no, I'm not going to use it. So really just take a step back and look at first what else you're taking in your luggage, and then that can really help you out. Like, oh, maybe I don't need that palette, because you're not going to need it, I promise you. Well, that's it. That is my travel makeup. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more travel related videos, like how I pack certain things, my toiletries, or whatever you want to see that is travel related, make sure you leave those suggestions down below and give this video a thumbs up. And also, if you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go and enjoy your weekend or day, whatever day you're watching this. But I really hope you have a good one, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.